so welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a minute, but I've been super busy with just life and things in general. But I just finished my third semester of nursing school. So most of y'all know I'm in a traditional BSN program. My classes, well, my last final was on Friday the 20th, and today's Wednesday. So I wanted to go ahead and do this video while all the information and stuff is fresh. And yeah, these are typically like the ones that y'all request the most. So this is my final update for this semester, and I will just have one more semester before I will graduate. So yeah, let's get right into the video. This semester I took 17 hours. So I'm just gonna give y'all a rundown of the classes like in general, and then just a little bit more in depth after that. Yeah. So the first class that we took was Integrated Learning 3. So we've taken this class every semester, and I believe we take it again next semester. And it literally is just like it sounds. It integrates all of our courses together. So it is only worth 1 hour, but yeah, all we did for our exams in there, they literally took some questions from like each of the courses that we already were taking, like, so it was just repeat questions and a couple of new ones over the same like repeat concepts. There was no actual lecture for that class. And then the next class I took was Complex Application to Practice 1. So if y'all remember from last semester, and I'll definitely link that video, but I took Complex 1, which was chronic care, last semester. So this semester we took Complex Application 1, which we went to clinical and did complex things like, well, complex 1 things, so like chronic care is what I mean. So we were just on med surg floors, chronic diseases, you know, like diabetes, asthma, COPD, things like that. And then we also took leadership, which least favorite class ever. It's very subjective in my opinion. And it was a lot about delegation, and it's one of those, along with the next course I'll talk about, that separate a BSN degree from an RN degree, because you have that leadership component, you know how to delegate and just be more of like it's that advanced kind of training that makes you an RN BSN instead of just an RN. Not just an RN, but that level. So, and then we also took evidence-based practice, which, like I said, that and leadership are classes that differentiate BSN from an RN. And so EBP was literally not my favorite at all either. It's no one's favorite. We only went to meet, I believe, 3 or 4 times, and it sucked. It was a really long lecture. This class had a lot excuse me. This class had a lot of discussions. We had to write a final paper, which I made a 100 on, which is pretty crazy. But we did like a critical appraisal of like these articles and things. It's literally just what it sounds like, evidence-based practice. So we had to do citations and research and read articles and all that kind of stuff. So not my favorite, but if that's something that you like to do, there is a such thing as research nursing. So you could be a research nurse, where I think all you end up doing is stuff like that, no really hands-on patient stuff. And then the next class we took was Complex 2. So last semester I took Complex 1. This semester I took Complex Practice, which is clinical, or Complex Application 1, which went with that. But for lecture, we took Complex 2, which is over critical care nursing. So it's acute, critical, whatever. But it's more like, you know, burns, stroke, a little bit. We've done stroke in both, but it's more burns, respiratory problems, like you needing to be intubated, anaphylaxis, shock, things like that, to where like you will die right now. You can live with COPD, you can't live with a collapsed lung. So yeah, and so that was just lecture, and next semester we'll take Complex Application to Practice 2, and that will be when we end up going to, for that part of my clinical rotation, I'll have to go to the emergency room, into the ICU, things like that, acute care settings. And the last class we took was my favorite, as y'all know, and it is called, I can't think of the long name, but it's called Families for short. but I think it's nursing care of families and children. So yeah, that's what I took this semester. In total, it's 17 hours, and like I said, this is the end of my third of 4 semesters, and so I now have 49 hours from like just nursing school alone, not counting my prereqs. So grade wise, I came out with 3 A's and 3 B's, which is the most A's that I made in a semester in nursing school, but it wasn't quite as good. It kind of sucks. I came out with a lot of 88 averages or 89, so it's kind of annoying because if I just done a little bit better on one thing, I'd have an A in that too. But overall, 3 A's and 3 B's, not bad. So yeah, let's see, as far as, like I said, this was our first semester going to actual clinical, and that was for our complex application to practice. So we got to, I'll tag my day in the life video because that's what that was for. We went to I was on the med surg urology floor, and we got to do everything. We finally got to give meds and actually take care of the patients, and we weren't just there to watch like last semester, which was really, really cool. What else? That was pretty much our only clinical experience, except in the end we also went and did like an orientation at one of the hospitals in Lubbock, and they counted that as clinical hours. I don't know why I'm so yawning right now, but what else? I have my planner right here just so I can jog my memory. But yeah, this semester began at the end of January, right? Yes, it began around January 20th and it ended April 20th. And yeah, as far as schedule wise, this semester all of my classes were on Wednesday for the most part, except EVP. Those 3 or 4 times that we met on a Monday afternoon for 3 or 4 hours long. But Wednesdays I had class 8 to 5, and I basically had a test every Monday morning and every Wednesday morning. Oh, and we did still go to sim in this semester. So we did a lot of simulations for our families courses, and so we did the families encompassed mom, baby, and also PD. So yeah, so we had 5 tests in there. I think the first 2 were maternal newborn and the last 3 were pediatric. So we did a lot of simulations for that course, and then the day before, like I said, classes were on Wednesday, and typically the complex test was on a Wednesday morning, and the day before you'd have a 2-hour sim covering like the concepts that were going to be on the test tomorrow, which was pretty cool. This was the first semester that our simulations actually lined up very well. So literally like for this first one, sim 1, we went in there and we talked about like the collapsed lung and blood reactions and things like that, and our test the next day was literally over that, versus in the past levels it was just poorly done. So what else? As far as clinical, that was pretty much it. We went to the hospital 5 days, and we were there from like 6:30 to 3:30, 4:30. Just really depended on your instructor. But yeah, we had about 5 family sims, 1 for each test, 4 complex sims, 1 for each test. Integrated, I believe we had 3, and yeah, or 4. So we did 1, and then sim 2 was formative, which was, like our practice skills test type thing. And then we did sim 3, and then we did sim 4, which was our summative, like final clinical evaluation. So that was, what we did for sim. Really cool because we don't have any sim next semester, which is so great because I do not like sim. I mean, I do, but it's just the way that you think it's going to be thrilling, and the dummies are coding and you're blah blah blah. That's not going to happen. This was the first semester where our dummy, I don't know a better name to call it, but our mannequins, I guess, they coded in the very first complex sim, but it wasn't even like a thrilling code. I don't know, it's just by this level I can tell what's going to happen in the sim when I get in there, because I already know what the topic is about. You know, if we are in there, like for the first one, before the patient coded, I literally walked in and one of the topics on our test was blood transfusion reactions, and one of them, like, we always focus on learning like those key things that differentiate between different reactions. One of them for hemolytic reactions is that you have low back pain. We walk in, our patient already has blood going, and she keeps saying, my back hurts, my back hurts. I'm the recorder, so I'm like writing things down on the board. I literally turn around to the guy and I'm like, okay, he's about to have a hemolytic reaction. The guy's like, and just keeps on going on and going on. And I literally go ahead and put him on oxygen and stop the thing and call the doctor. So I'm like, this is what's happening. And I'm not gonna wait until they start, you know. So it's just like, you can already kind of tell, because it's literally like textbook. Versus in the hospital, you're like, okay, the patient's having low back pain, but the vitals are fine. Or the patient, you know, like you're not always going to have a textbook patient to where they're in shock. Their heart rate's low, their blood pressure's low, their heart rate's high, their blood pressure's low, etc., etc. Like sometimes they might have one vital or something within the normal range, which makes you question, like, I don't know for sure that this is what I think it is. But I don't know, sim is just really to get kind of boring to me. And also, you always go in groups. So if there were about 8 people in that group, we go in, like 2 at a time. So during that time, the rest of us are just sitting there watching what they're doing, like it's recording them, so we're watching them like on a TV screen. It's like, it's not hands-on, I'm not paying attention, it's freezing in here, I'm literally just trying to stay awake. So yeah, I'm happy that we do not have to do another sim. What else? Clinical, we talked about that. I will link my day in the life clinical edition video so you can see, because I talked a lot about the whole clinical experience at the end of that, and I don't want to sit here and tell y'all the same thing all over again. But what else? Leadership was just exams, nothing else. Exams and lectures. Families, we talked about that one. So we got to see, you know, the dummy giving birth and things like that, which that was cool, you know, to at least kind of see how that went in the dummy version. Before you actually, next semester, you do have to do your family's portion of clinical, which everyone will have to go to a labor and delivery unit and see a birth, just because a lot of people don't remember, or that a lot of people don't think about the fact that you can say, oh, ew, I never want to be a labor and delivery nurse, I never want to be around kids, I never want to, but like, not me, but you know, Susie Q could come into your ER in labor, and so you need to at least be semi-familiar with like how to deliver a baby. Like if a patient comes in, like let's say you are an ER nurse or a pediatric trauma or something, but let's say this woman is homeless, she wanders into your whatever, I don't know how she gets to your unit, maybe she's on your med surg unit and she's 9 centimeters dilated, 80% of fate, like she's about to have a baby, you may not have time to transfer her. You can hopefully call someone from labor and delivery to come down, maybe they don't get there fast enough, you're going to have to intervene, you know. So we do all have to go and see what these things are like and get a little bit of experience doing them, because you just never know. What else? EBP, all papers, discussions, things. We had to work with a partner. We did a final debate over topics that were assigned to you. My topic was about telehealth. So, you know, just like when you can talk to your doctor like via like sort of like a FaceTime thing or a chat, things like that. And me and my partner were for telehealth and telecommunication and telemedicine, and the other group was against it. So it was really cool. You got those assignments at the beginning, you worked on your topic and found each discussion typically had an assignment, not typically, most of them had an assignment dealing with your same articles, and in the end they gave us our final paper template, and you just took those discussions and pieced them in, maybe added some words and made them flow. So it was really cool because by the time it was time for the paper was pretty much done besides the introduction and conclusion. So that was cool. What else? That is pretty much it for the classes. Complex class. We learned about acute care. We had 4 exams. Oh, for families and also for integrated, we did ATI real life scenarios. So on those, you go in there, you have to click through. If you click the wrong next step, then you get kicked out, and you needed to get like different grades. Like in the end, it grades you based on the action that you chose, because you could even choose, you know, like the second best answer, so the patient doesn't die or see any complications, but in the end you would get satisfactory as your grade instead of strong. And strong was 100, and I think satisfactory was like an 85. So yeah, you could retake them as many times as you needed. And yeah, that was really cool, because you got in the videos, you're seeing like these people, they're like in a hospital, and they're actors, I'm assuming, but they're in a hospital pretending to care for this pregnant lady who's in preterm labor or experiencing preeclampsia and things like that. So it was really cool. And then what else? Oh, for complex, we did ATI targeted assessments. So there was one for each topic, like fluid and electrolyte balance, cardiovascular, respiratory, kidney, endocrine, everything. So you had to take those, and you could retake them every 24 hours and just try to get the best grade that you can. Yeah, there really was not much. As far as spring break, we didn't really get one. We had class all day on Wednesday, and we could be gone Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So you could be gone those 4 days. But then Monday there was an exam, and the following Wednesday there was an exam. So I came home, but yeah, I don't plan on having just a crazy long full week of spring break. It was basically a couple days. What else? This semester, really cool thing about the exams, the exam reviews, where you get to flip through and just see like a copy of the test and the correct answers and their rationales. Typically, with the exception of one exam, they happened immediately following the test. So you got your grades back immediately, and yeah, that was pretty cool. And for those, if someone tells you that you're gonna have repeat questions on like your integrated test, definitely go to the exam review. Make sure that you put down the correct answers, or you see which one is correct, so that on the integrated test, when it reappears, you are good. What else? Yeah, this is my first semester not getting any point deductions, because usually you get, you know, points off if you're late, points off if you don't submit something, points off if you whatever. I didn't get any of those point deductions this semester for the very first time. And what else? Completely just went blank. Just my overall opinion of this semester, it was the best one, because our teachers actually taught us. So they weren't just like, oh, you already know this, you already know that, and then they go on to like a more deeper concept, because it's like, I don't already know that 9 times out of 10. Think about it, pathophysiology, that was years ago. Microbiology, didn't get it then, don't get it now. Anatomy, like, of course, you had every single bone, muscle, concept of the body down packed while you're in the class, but that was years ago. You can't just say, you know, sternocleidomastoid, and I'm just like, oh, it's right here. Like, it took me a second. Like, that one's back there, but the other one, can't think of it. But it's like, this is the first semester where they actually taught us, and they actually weren't out to like get us in a sense of like, oh, like trying to get the most point deduction, just trying to get the most, because like the ATI targeted assessments, at the end of any ATI thing you do, it gives you your report, but your teachers are able to go in and they can see, you know, so Amani Williams, so-and-so, Susie Q, da-da-da, and what grade they made, what they did, when they did it, etc., and see those reports, because it's all electronic. Last semester, if you didn't turn in the report, you got like 5 or 10 points off. When it's like, what? Like, and so this semester, on the very first day, our lead faculty, he literally said, he was like, we were doing that for like target assessments, but I thought about it and it just didn't make any sense. Someone makes a 96 on the target assessment, and they only get a 90 in the grade book. Like, you clearly did it. The teachers just, in the past levels, they didn't want to go through the hassle of just looking it up. You know, and it's like, you don't, I wasn't late, I just forgot to click submit, you know. So this is the first time they actually like taught us. And what else? As far as other things, I am also in TNSA, so I went to the meetings, did some volunteering, and I was also this semester selected to be a Dean's Ambassador for the School of Nursing. So with that, I had extra meetings, extra community service, and just extra stuff, and it was a really good experience. I've had a lot of fun, done a lot of things like getting to demonstrate what nursing is like to children that are, in junior high school, etc. And that's just really cool. And then also I am a member of the Undergraduate Advisory Council, or UDAC, for my program. So we meet twice in the semester, and we bring forth any issues and things like that we're experiencing that like our faculty couldn't resolve. So that was really cool. And I mean, in total, no, my schedule, this wasn't the worst. I feel like last semester was much worse. As far as scheduling, everything was just everywhere. You had 57 places to be. There was 5,000 schedules. This time it was just together. It was much more user-friendly as a whole, like this entire setup. What else? We did have a lot of workshops and things in the Career Center this semester, because pretty much between I am off school for the next 4 weeks, so I don't have to be back until around May 20th, and between now and then a lot of job applications for us summer graduates are going to open. So we had a Just for Success workshop where a lady came, demonstrated what to wear for an interview, things like that. We had a resume building workshop, and I also met with a career services lady, and she went over from the workshop. We got a PowerPoint. I altered my resume and made it kind of look like that. She's gone over with me, helped me make changes, things like that. What else did we do? I don't know. It was something about interview tips and hacks, things like that, and it was pretty interesting. And when you do that, you get free food, and yeah. And we also had an etiquette dinner maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we got to have I think it was a 4 or 5 course meal, and we got to go through that. And there was a lady, and she taught us there's different styles of eating. You're technically supposed to always pass anything, butter, salt, ketchup, whatever, pass it to the right, unless if someone's sitting immediately next to me, I can offer it to her, but then we still have to go back to the right. She can't offer it to the next person to the left. So if my mom was sitting right here next to me, and let's say I pick up the butter and I start passing it over to the right, she has to wait for it to make it all the way back around the table. Technically, you can't get a to-go plate unless your host, sees that there's more food on your plate and says, "Hey, do you want a to-go box?" But you can't just ask on your own because they're paying for that food, and it's just considered rude. No alcohol at a business dinner, things like that. And next semester we get to do even more, because they really are getting us prepared for your career and getting hired and things like that. Oh, and we also had a virtual career fair. So to me, the virtual career fair sucked, but it was the intentions were good. The execution just wasn't very well thought out, in my opinion, because most of the hospitals that came to the virtual career fair or participated in it, because you didn't have to go anywhere, you just kind of logged in, group FaceTime type deal. I want to say there were about 14 hospitals, and I believe 10 or 11 of them were from Dallas. So it's just what about the rest of us that want to live in Houston or Austin or San Antonio, these other major Texas cities? It was a waste of time for us when oh, I don't really want to go to Dallas at all. So all in all, yeah, I loved this semester. I think it was really good, very just well executed. So yeah, I feel like that is it. Definitely respond with any questions. Let me know if y'all are in nursing school, or if you're in school at all, and how you're doing with your school or whatever you're choosing to do. So yeah, comment that below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and yeah, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, whatever, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Have a good day. Bye.